Andy xin cảm ơn quý đồng hương đã cho Andy cơ hội phục vụ trên 30 năm qua.
Với tất cả tấm lòng luôn đặt quyền lợi quý khách lên hàng đầu, dùng chất lượng cao tạo độ bền bỉ và sự an toàn. Nay Andy xin tranh cử vào chức vụ Giám đốc Sở Vệ sinh Môi trường, tái tạo rác thải thành nhiều cây xanh bóng mát, trồng thêm hoa cảnh đẹp khắp Lý Đồ Sài Gòn, trồng thêm phượng vị khắp bonsai, lôi cuốn khách du lịch gần xa, tăng thêm thu nhập cho thành phố, bảo tồn nét văn hóa đẹp của quê hương. Đó cũng là đền đáp tứ trọng ân.
Xin quý vị hãy bầu cho Andy vào chức vụ Giám đốc Sở Vệ sinh Môi trường vào ngày 5 tháng 11 này. Andy xin chân thành cảm tạ quý vị.
Bầu cử ngày 5 tháng 11 rất quan trọng. Chúng ta chỉ có một lựa chọn duy nhất là Thượng nghị sĩ Janet Nguyễn, một người con của chiến sĩ Việt Nam Cộng Hòa, tranh đấu phục vụ cho cộng đồng người Việt suốt 20 năm qua. Nếu không giành chiến thắng lần này, chúng ta sẽ mất đi những thành quả hơn 49 năm xây dựng một cộng đồng lớn mạnh với đạo luật tưởng nhớ tháng Tư đen, chương trình giảng dạy lịch sử chiến tranh Việt Nam, văn phòng phục vụ cộng đồng, hội trợ y tế miễn phí. Hãy giữ tiếng nói của người Việt tại Hội đồng Giám sát quận Cam. Thượng nghị sĩ Janet Nguyễn sẽ tiếp tục tranh đấu cho cộng đồng như bảo vệ nhân quyền tại Việt Nam, chống tham nhũng, chống tăng thuế, chống lạm phát, tăng việc làm, hỗ trợ cơ sở thương mại, giải quyết vấn đề housing và homeless, mở lại văn phòng phục vụ cộng đồng, xây dựng trung tâm văn hóa. Hãy dồn phiếu cho Thượng nghị sĩ Janet Nguyễn vào giám sát viên để tiếp tục những việc dở dang, bài trừ tệ nạn bè phái và bảo vệ đồng tiền thuế của người dân. Thượng nghị sĩ Janet Nguyễn, giám sát viên, địa hạt 1, cột số 2.
Nghị viên Ted Buổi, hậu duệ quân lực Việt Nam Cộng Hòa, ông đặt nặng tinh thần phục vụ và tranh đấu quyền lợi cho cư dân. Ông Ted Buổi, chủ doanh nghiệp nhỏ với hơn 25 năm kinh nghiệm, ông hiểu những thử thách và sẽ tiếp tục tạo môi trường thân thiện cho giới tiểu thương, nâng cao an toàn công cộng cho cư dân. Ông đã giúp thông qua những quy định cắt giảm các thủ tục không cần thiết, giúp doanh nghiệp nhỏ dễ dàng kinh doanh và phát triển. Ông được sự tín nhiệm và ủng hộ của Hiệp hội Cảnh sát và lính cứu hỏa của thành phố Fountain Valley. Xin quý cử tri dồn phiếu cho nghị viên Ted Buổi tái đắc cử vào chức nghị viên thành phố Fountain Valley. Xin cảm ơn quý đồng hương. Paid for by Ted Buổi for City Council 2024.
Hello, kính thưa quý vị, Long xin thân ái kính chào quý vị. Kính thưa quý vị, hôm nay là ngày thứ Bảy 12 tháng 10 2024. Hiện giờ Long Nguyên đang có mặt ở chỗ cái rô lầy của cụ Tổng thống Donald Trump sẽ về đây, về nơi đây là cái thành phố nó gọi là gần Idaho. Bây giờ cái Idaho là Long Nguyên đang ở đây để chờ xe bus là đưa vào trong. Kính thưa quý vị, Long Nguyên thấy là rất là đông, thiệt là đông luôn quý vị, không thể tưởng tượng bây giờ đang xếp hàng trên xe bus mà như thế này, xếp hàng tới 2 mai luôn đó quý vị. Cái mà đặc biệt kìa, cái là đặc biệt là Long nhận thấy rằng thấy kêu đặc biệt là quý vị thấy là ngày hôm nay có rất là nhiều, đặc biệt là những người của bản xứ, còn có những người Spanish và Đại Hàn, Tàu, người Vietnamese. Vietnamese là la people and Spanish and Austria. Yeah. That's it. Rất là đông, không phải là lý do tại sao mà Vietnamese. Lý do tại sao mà Lâm Nguyên phải nói như thưa cùng quý vị biết không? Đây mời quý vị xem những cái quý vị thấy không? Đây là sắp hàng đi xe bus thôi đó. Ok, lên xe bus để đưa vào trong nữa, còn khoảng chừng mấy mai nữa mới tới cái địa điểm của ngài cụ Tổng thống Donald Trump. Đây quý vị thấy không? Đây rất là, đây là sắp hàng đi xe bus chứ cũng chưa tới nữa nha quý vị. Hello. Trump.
We are sick and tired of being prisoners of our own system.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yep. Uh-huh. Đó quý vị thấy là sắp, có nghĩa là cái đây là cái đuôi nè quý vị, cái đuôi là ở đây nè nha. Đó, cái đuôi mà đó nè, qua khỏi cái cây cọ, cái những người đang
bán cờ đó qua khỏi luôn, mà đi lên tới đây. Ok. Đây. Rồi bây giờ là Lâm Nguyên sẽ đi tới ngay cái đầu tàu nha, ngay cái đầu. Đây. Nhưng mà thưa quý vị, rất là nóng, thời tiết rất là nóng. Đây là những cái bãi trong cái việc thế là đậu xe đó. Ok. Yeah. Burger.
Yeah.
Burger. Yeah.
Oh, we're getting on for sure. And then keep it moving.
Đây là cái chỗ, cái đầu đó quý vị, cái đầu để quý vị thấy xe bus tới đó, liên tục để mà đưa người đi. Đây này, đó. Vì thế là rất là đông. Sẽ bến tới đó quý vị thấy không? Quý vị thấy đó.
Sir, you don't have any bracelets?
What?
The bracelets?
No.
No? Okay.
I don't have them. Oh.
Some people need them.
Oh.
Probably ran out.
No.
All right.
No, we don't need a bracelet.
ABC7.
Yeah. Oh. Maga.
Channel 5.
Finally you're here.
Somebody's here.
Somebody.
Trump.
Yeah.
ngày 5 tháng 11 rất quan trọng. Chúng ta chỉ có một lựa chọn duy nhất là Thượng nghị sĩ Nguyễn, một người con của chiến sĩ Việt Nam Cộng Hòa, tranh đấu phục vụ cho cộng đồng người Việt suốt 20 năm qua. Nếu không giành chiến thắng lần này, chúng ta sẽ mất đi những thành quả hơn 49 năm xây dựng một cộng đồng lớn mạnh với đạo luật tưởng nhớ tháng Tư đen, chương trình giảng dạy lịch sử chiến tranh Việt Nam, văn phòng phục vụ cộng đồng, hội trợ y tế miễn phí. Hãy giữ tiếng nói của người Việt tại Hội đồng Giám sát quận Cam. Thượng nghị sĩ Nguyễn sẽ tiếp tục tranh đấu cho cộng đồng như bảo vệ nhân quyền tại Việt Nam, chống tham nhũng, chống tăng thuế, chống lạm phát, tăng việc làm, hỗ trợ cơ sở thương mại, giải quyết vấn đề housing và homeless, mở lại văn phòng phục vụ cộng đồng, xây dựng trung tâm văn hóa. Hãy dồn phiếu cho Thượng nghị sĩ Nguyễn vào giám sát viên để tiếp tục những việc dở dang, bài trừ tệ nạn bè phái và bảo vệ đồng tiền thuế của người dân. Thượng nghị sĩ Nguyễn, giám sát viên, địa hạt 1, cột số 2.
Andy xin cảm ơn quý đồng hương đã cho Andy cơ hội phục vụ trên 30 năm qua.
Với tất cả tấm lòng luôn đặt quyền lợi quý khách lên hàng đầu, dùng chất lượng cao tạo độ bền bỉ và sự an toàn. Nay Andy xin tranh cử vào chức vụ Giám đốc Sở Vệ sinh Môi trường, tái tạo rác thải thành nhiều cây xanh bóng mát, trồng thêm hoa cảnh đẹp khắp Lý Đồ Sài Gòn, trồng thêm phượng vị khắp Bonsa, lôi cuốn khách du lịch gần xa, tăng thêm thu nhập cho thành phố, bảo tồn nét văn hóa đẹp của quê hương. Đó cũng là đền đáp tứ trọng ân.
Xin quý vị hãy bầu cho Andy vào chức vụ Giám đốc Sở Vệ sinh Môi trường vào ngày 5 tháng 11 này. Andy xin chân thành cảm tạ quý vị.
Thưa quý vị, hiện giờ Đông Nguyên nếu vô được cái trong này coi như là bắt đầu tiếp tục nhưng mà nóng, trời nóng quá quý vị ơi, rất là nóng.
Ladies and gentlemen, we should not cast our vote based on gender or race.
Quá chừng đông luôn.
But we should cast our vote based on ability to complete the job successfully. President Trump is the only solution. We need him now more than ever. We used to have a wonderful economy under President Trump administration. We used to have the most skilled voter under President Trump administration. And the world has no war under President Trump administration. Only President Trump has enough love for our children to make education good again. Only President Trump has enough love for our business owner and working class to make economy strong again. Only President Trump has enough love for our Americans to make our border safe again. And only President Trump has enough love for this country to make America great again. Thank you very much, everyone. And we are from Vietnamese American for America First. We need to
He said go around this way. He goes VIP.
President Trump this year.
This nation. Can you honestly tell me that you're better off today, 4 years of the Biden and Harris regime, than you were under President Trump? Hell no, you know you can't say that. And so since then, I've had private conversations, I've done a handful of interviews, and I can tell you, I know the man's mind and heart. He's trying to do what's right for this country. That's why I didn't write a speech today, because I came out here just to talk to you. As a father, as a patriot, as a veteran, as a former journalist, to tell you the majority of the media lies to you. Both parties typically lie to you. But President Trump and this MAGA, this America First movement, does not. Look around. Look at the sea of people. We got 15, 20,000 here. There's 25,000 people waiting to get in. They're black, white, red, yellow. They're gay, straight. They're old. They're young. America First is about all Americans. It's not about Donald Trump. It's about the movement. And he gets it. He knows it. It's about you. It's about we the people. Hell yeah. Get on your feet. I know I'm supposed to wrap up in 3 minutes, but hold on, guys. I text 45. He said I can have 2 more. Okay, let's go over real quick. USA, let's go, let's go. Let's go. USA, 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 USA. Woo! A week ago, Kamala Harris said interview with The View. Sonny Hoyson asked her, would you do anything different than Joe Biden did? You know what she said? I can't think of anything. No, and I was there for all the major decisions. Okay, real quick, let's go over in 30 seconds. You locked down businesses. You told Democrat governors to lock businesses down. You screwed our kids' education. Thousands of people lost their livelihood.
Hello, chào chị.
From here, Coachella.
Then the minute you took over, you took away our energy independence. You made prices skyrocket. Don't get me started on the debacle of the Afghan exit, where you lost 13 of our heroes. And I know that Kareem and Hunter's family's here today. Can we hear it for the 13 we lost in Afghanistan? And she gets appointed border czar, right? She's a border czar. What the hell happened to the border? We've allowed over 15 million illegals in. We have milked FEMA for all their money. We can't even take care of our own American citizens. From Florida to Asheville, we're out in Maui, Hawaii, we're in East Palestine because we gave all the damn money to illegal aliens. Not to mention they're spending billions of dollars of our taxpayers to pay for them.
Thì bởi vậy.
This is your job resume. You're like, hey, what would you say to Kamala?
Rất là đông quý vị. Bây giờ Long Nguyên là ở trong tận không có vào được nữa, coi như nghẹt hết rồi, thua.
DEI training in our military, that's not what we need in the military, in our schools, telling our children they can cut off parts and change their gender. This party has become insane. We used to be able to have a conversation. Can't have a discussion. Some of these folks are so radicalized, it's insane. TDS, everything you try to tell them, they won't listen. But let me tell you, as I wrap up, because I want way over. Save the children, thank you, brother. COVID, energy prices, Ukraine, the Middle East, wasting our money, more debt, inflation, you name it. You know you're not better off. You know what you need to do this November 5th. You vote for Donald Trump, Republicans down ballot. We got to take the Senate, take the House, and put President Trump back in office for 4 more years so we can make America great again. Thank you, my name's Dan Ball.
I like your shirt. I didn't notice that. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage entrepreneur Grant Cardone.
Yeah, there's free water.
you need to hold the ice cream? Oh, no, I'm good. That's something. We're going to be swapped.
rather nice crowd. You can't see the end of it. Hello back there, boy. I can see everything. I want to give a special hello to Coachella.
Picture, yeah.
You
can't really see his face.
We have had a great reception here.
Okay.
Look at this crowd. This is like record stuff. As far as the eye can see, that means we're going to do very well. This is like a poll. And a very also special hello to the state of California. We got to make it better. I stand before you today in the heart of the majestic Coachella Valley to declare that the Republican Party will always put America first and lead us on to victories like you have never seen before. We're gonna have a big victory. Because we've become the party of common sense. You know, we call it common sense. We're conservative. Who the hell knows? We might even be a little bit liberal, but you know what? We have common sense. We have common sense. That's what it's all about. No, we're nice and conservative, but we do it the proper way, and we're doing numbers that nobody's ever seen. Look at these rallies, nobody's ever seen. Nobody's ever seen. And we're fighting for hardworking citizens of every race, religion, color, and creed, right? And that sun is hot. I'll tell you. Should I or should I not put on the hat, the famous hat? Okay, who wants me to put it on? Who loves my hair and said you shouldn't? All right, I'm putting this second. That sun is hot. Mr. Wall, I love Mr. Wall. Front row Joes over here, here they come. And we have the great women from North Carolina over here, look at them. That's number 219 or something for them. They're wealthy and beautiful and they have wonderful husbands, I think. I don't know, what are they doing? What are the husbands doing? The radical left Democrats have destroyed this state, but we are going to save it and we're going to make it better than ever before. Yet I've come here today not only to talk about California, where you have one of the worst governors in the country, Gavin Newsom. But you definitely had somebody here that was horrible. Kamala. And now she wants to destroy our country. We're not going to let her destroy our country like she did San Francisco. But how will we save America from suffering the same fate? Because if she's here, you know how we'll do it? By voting for Trump. And the radical Democrats have destroyed this state. California's really, it's a paradise lost, but we're going to bring it back. Don't worry about it. We're bringing it back. It'll happen fast. We'll stop the murderers from coming in, the drug dealers, everybody coming into California, coming into our country. Through generations of American history, California stood as the beacon of what our country aspired to become. It really did. It had everything. It had the weather, it had the water. The state had the best schools, the safest communities, and a booming middle class. But all that was eradicated by decades of the very policies that Kamala Harris wants to now force upon America. I don't think it's going to happen. And by the way, we're leading in all the polls, but we have to win. Too big to rig. We're leading in the polls, but we have to do it too big to rig. Because they are good at one thing. You know what that one thing? Cheating! Here goes cheating. That's true. They're professional thieves. Today, California has the highest inflation, the highest taxes, the highest gas prices, the highest cost of living, the most regulations, the most expensive utilities, the most homelessness, the most crime, the most decay, and the most illegal aliens. Other than that, I think you're doing quite well, actually. Turn it up. We're not going to let Kamala Harris do to America what she did to California. We're not going to let it happen. So whether you are Democrat, Republican, or Independent, this election is your chance to send a message. We always have that. Now tomorrow, here's the only problem. So we have like 100,000. We have a lot of people. You know, in Butler last week, we had 101,000. Celebrating the life of a great person, a great fireman, actually, Corey. We had 101,000. So whether you're a Democrat, a Republican, or independent, this election is your chance to send a message to the world that the people of California are not going to take it any longer. Kamala Harris got you into this mess, and only Trump is going to get you out. But by far, one of the biggest factors in destroying California has been mass illegal immigration and a governor that plays right into their hands. What a shame. What a shame. She got it started. Kamala got it started. Now she's saying, no, I'd like to see the wall get built. Oh, she'd like to see. Where was she 4 years ago? Yeah. This just is new. You know, her poll numbers are tanking. So all of a sudden she's in love with the wall, which does work. Two things work. You know what they are? Wheels and walls. Yes. Everything else, you can have a brand new, beautiful computer for that beautiful young boy of yours, and in about 2 weeks it's obsolete. But wheels and walls never get obsolete, and we built one hell of a wall. We were going to add 200 miles more, and then bad things happened last time. You know, we got more votes the second time by millions than we got the first. Anyway, they took over, and that's when I realized they want to have an open border because they didn't want to put a little bit of extra that I bought, far beyond what I said I was going to build. And they sold it for 5 cents on the dollar. Can you believe these people? That's so bad. And now they're realizing it works, and now they want to build some, but it's a little late for them because they're not going to be there very much longer, I don't think. You know, Joe Biden was the worst president in the history of our country. She's the worst vice president in the history of our country. There's never been anything, and we're not going to let her. You know, I beat Biden, so we have a debate. He went down, he was down. In all fairness to him, he got 14 million votes. She got none, right? So he goes down. They said, we want you out of here. I won't do it. We want you out of here, Joe. You know, it was a coup. It was a coup. They actually threw him out of office. And I'm convinced that he likes me a little bit more, this much more, than he likes her. I'm pretty well convinced. Across the state, which Kamala, or as she would say, Kamala, helped make a sanctuary state. Does anybody really want? You know what a sanctuary state is? That's a place where you keep criminals, right? Who the hell wants that? The mass migration invasion has crushed wages, crashed school systems. Your systems are a disaster. Wrecked the standard of living and brought crime, drugs, misery, and death. Now, over the past 4 years, Border Czar Harris has delivered the same nightmare invasion to every state in America as your vice president. I can't even know. How do you like the vice president she picked? How about that guy? How about that guy?
You can't see his face anywhere, so they're right on the screen.
I don't know. What the hell is wrong with our country? Right? Look, you know, we used to have the greatest Abraham Lincoln children. Now look at this stuff. Can you believe what we're doing? She's so bad. She's so bad. It can't happen. Although the way things go in this country nowadays, I guess it probably could. That's why we want to build up a league. We got to build up that league because such bad things. And we've got to do it, and I don't want to keep saying it.
You can't see
Too
him.
big to read. I don't want to say it. She's imported an army of illegal alien gang members and migrant criminals from the dungeons of the third world. They come from the dungeons of the third world. Many are prisoners, many are...
Because nobody else had it.
Some had death sentences. They're going to be executed for murder. But they're now living happily in California and other places in our country. Congratulations. If you see them, I think you should be kind and take them in, give them a meal, Let them stay with your children. They'll take care of your children. From prisons and jails they came, from insane asylums and mental institutions from all over the world. From Venezuela to the Congo. They came, a lot come from the Congo. I don't know what's happening in the Congo. We can almost tell the worst areas because if there's a run on the Congo, we know Congo's not doing well. But they come from all over the world. She's resettled them into your communities. Congratulations. They can now prey on innocent Americans for a while. If Kamala gets 4 more years, the entire country will become like the migrant camp of LA and San Francisco. What the hell is happening to us? Look, it's Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln, stand up. Honest Abe. Thank you, Honest Abe. We have them all. I have no idea who he is. He looks pretty damn good, I'll tell you. When I win on November 5th, the migrant invasion ends and the restoration of our country begins.
Yeah!
You know, I had a big debate with a lot of very smart people, political people, and they're all saying the economy is the most important thing. And when you add inflation, I don't know, maybe it is inflation, I put it as part of the economy, but they say the economy and then inflation. And they had the border down as the third. And I disagree. I think, frankly, I don't even want to speak against myself. I think the border is number one. Because, you know, we can fix things, we can do, but what they've done to our country at the border is unbelievable by allowing 21 million people into our country. It's not sustainable. 645,000 are criminals. And some are 214,000 are what they call high grade A criminals. We have them. Think of that. One of the deadliest and most vicious migrant gangs that Kamala has imported into our country is the savage Venezuelan prison gang. Isn't it nice? They formed a little friendship in prison, one of the meanest prisons you've ever seen. The Tren de Aragua. Have you heard of it? This is Tren de Aragua gang. Nice individuals, very nice. They're in Aurora, Colorado, where you have a very weak and pathetic governor who's petrified of them. He's afraid of the criminals. He's the governor. You can't be afraid. But they're in Colorado and communities all over nationwide. This gang is terrorizing law-abiding citizens, including taking over the multiple apartment complexes. But in Aurora, they're like me. They're in the real estate business. They want to go in. The only difference, they use financing, they use guns. Take a look.
Open borders, deadly consequences.
Border crisis, record high crossings are putting a strain on cities across America.
It is a full-blown invasion.
Armed Venezuelan gang members storming an apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado.
When people talk about migrant crime, this is what they're talking about. Biden and Harris have created a program to bring them in under humanitarian parole.
I am in favor of saying that we're not going to treat people who are undocumented across the border as criminals.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been released into the United States.
My 20-year-old daughter, Kayla Hamilton, was murdered in her own room. Kayla's murderer was apprehended by Border Patrol crossing illegally into the U.S.
Kayla's murderer had been improperly released into the United States.
Abolish ICE. Deanna, we need to probably think about starting from scratch.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
More than a dozen people suspected of being Tren de Aragua gang members right here in San Antonio.
The gang members had been terrorizing the apartment complex.
New details in the murder of Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national.
And was paroled and released into the country by the Biden administration.
2 men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder and the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
Court documents suggest a group of men arrested for beating and robbing a Dallas woman last month are members of a Venezuelan street gang.
Manuel Hernandez was booked by Colleyville police just 2 days earlier and released the day before the robbery.
So, you know, crime rates all over the world are down. You know why? Every country, every single. Last week, the great Tom Homan. Do you know Tom Homan? He told me last week 168 different countries were represented that violated the border list. Countries that you never even heard of. Some countries you've never even heard of them. And some of the most vicious criminals. And Kamala said a few weeks ago that the people that we take in are much nicer than our criminals. No, they make our criminals like the nicest people you've ever met. The only good thing is they do. Our criminals are considered extremely nice by comparison to the people that we see. They'll cut your throat, and the next morning they won't even remember. This is what they do. These are really bad. These are really evil people. And they also have terrorists coming in, and they have the drug lords coming in, and they say, if you ever come back, we're going to kill you. So we're stuck with them, but we're not stuck with them. They're going back. They're going back. They're going back, and they're going back fast. And if the countries don't want to take them back, I just say very simply, that's okay. We're going to tariff every damn product you sell into the U.S. And they're going to say, like they always have to me, sir, we would love to take MS-13 gang members back. We think they're wonderful people. You know, we had that problem when I first came in. You had Honduras. You had, I'd say, 3 or 4 different countries, a little bit Mexico. But you had these countries, and they wouldn't take their people back. And I said to one of the generals, I want to get MS-13 the hell out of our country. I really don't want to put them in our jail, but I don't want to come back because it's so expensive. So we put them in, and I said, General, I want them back. Sir, they won't take them back. What are you talking about? They won't take them back, sir. How much money do we pay that little group of countries? Sir, we give them exactly $750 million a year for economic development. You know whose development is? For the president of the country. That's whose development, for his house. So let me ask you, so we give them that? Tell them they're in violation of our agreement. Tell them we are sending them back, and if you don't take them, in fact, don't even say that. Just say we're not sending them any more money. They called up. Following morning, all 3, there were 3 countries in this case, so all 3 separate. They called up, said the same thing. Sir, there seems to be a misunderstanding. He said, no. Obama couldn't get him back. Nobody could get him back. Bush couldn't get him back. Nobody could get him back. I got him back. It took me about 1 phone call. So we said, no, there's no misunderstanding. You send them over in caravans and you don't take them back, you're going to take them back. And we're not giving you any more money. It's over. Your $750 million a year, it's over. Sir, we would be honored to take them back. This was a misunderstanding. It would be our great honor to take MS-13 vicious gang members back. We love them very much. And they took them back. It was like no problem. You know, they used to put airplanes on the runway, so we'd have an airplane go up and couldn't land and come back. That was with Barack Hussein Obama. Have you heard of him? And we got them all back. We took them out. You know who took them out? ICE. And you know what she wants to do with ICE? She wants to get rid of ICE. I know some guys in the front couple of rows and they're very tough, but they don't want to be in ICE. They don't want to be, they're not that tough. But we are known all throughout the world now as an occupied country. We're like an occupied country. We got people taking over parts of Colorado. We have people taking over other states. A lot of states don't want to talk about it because they're embarrassed. The governor's embarrassed, the mayors are embarrassed. But it's no different really than if we lost a war. But to everyone here in California and all across our nation, I make this pledge to you. November 5th, 2024 will be Liberation Day in America. Liberation Day. We're going to be liberated. You ever think you'd hear that 10 years ago, 15 years ago? We're going to liberate our country from criminals. How stupid are we? How stupid are these leaders? They're stupid people. I will rescue California and every town across America that's been invaded and conquered. And we will put these vicious and bloodthirsty criminals in jail or kick them the hell out of the country, which is number 1. In May, an illegal alien was arrested in Los Angeles. You know about this, and charged with sadistically raping 2 women in the back of a windowless van that police said was disgustingly outfitted as well. Detectives believe this monster.
I should have said follow me.
He drove around late night looking for women, and a remote mountain canyon was involved, and the whole thing, no cell service, no anything, everything. Everybody was very sophisticated, in other words, viciously tortured. The women were really, really badly hurt. One woman said he didn't want to rape me, he wanted to kill me. But they got him. And now we have to put him away for a long time. That's the thing, you know?
He was a good guy.
I don't know Gaston, but I hear he's down in the polls, and that's a very good thing. Likewise, the savage animal who raped and murdered Rachel Barr. You know Rachel Barr? Beautiful woman, 37 years old, Maryland, mother of five.
But they cheated last
Also
time.
broke into a home in Los Angeles just before that after crossing the border illegally. We had the strongest border in the history of our country. Now we have the worst border in the history of the world. Illegally came in and horrifically assaulted a local 9-year-old girl and her mother, beat them up badly, very badly. One is maybe not even going to make it. In July, an illegal alien who was previously deported 3 times was arrested in Central Valley for sneaking up to a mobile home early in the morning and setting it on fire while a 32-year-old woman and her 7-year-old daughter and son of 10 years old were inside, all of whom were killed in the most excruciating deaths, and people watched it happen. There was nothing they could do about it. My message to the American people is very simple. No person who has inflicted the violence and terror that Borders R. Harris has unleashed on our country can ever be allowed to become the President of the United States. You can't let this happen. And anyone who would import criminal gangs to occupy America, we're not going to be occupied by anybody, cannot ask to be President of this country. Anyone who orchestrated an invasion of America cannot lead America. Kamala Harris, her reign of terror ends the day I take office. She's finished. And to expedite removals of Trende, Aragua, and other savage gangs. There are many savage gangs. MS-13 is probably even meaner. They don't like using guns. They like using knives. They cut up 2 young girls, beautiful young girls, walking to school in Long Island. Not in Long Island for some reason, a lot of them, but ICE got them out, largely got them out. But 2 beautiful young girls walking to school, and they cut them up with knives. They cut them up into little pieces. Both of them died. They didn't want to use a gun because a gun's not painful enough. These are animals. I will invoke the Alien Enemies Act of 1798 to target and dismantle every migrant criminal network operating on American soil. And we will call it Operation Aurora. That's what we're going to, in honor of the people that have suffered in Aurora at the hands of this horrible gang. And if they come back into our country after we're going to throw them out so far you wouldn't believe it. But if they come back into our country, it's an automatic 10 years in jail with no possibility of parole. 10 years. And if that doesn't work, it'll be 20 years. And if that doesn't work, I guess it's going to be the death penalty, right? And I'm hereby calling for the death penalty for any migrant that kills an American citizen or law enforcement officer. Death penalty.
USA! 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 Hey, Agent for Trump. Yeah. Agent for Trump.
Kamala's mass migration strategies by letting people come in. No proof, no anything. They didn't need anything. There was no vetting. Just come on in. Where were you? Who are you? Don't worry, it doesn't matter. Murderers were coming. Remember CNN had this young reporter, beautiful young reporter, talking to somebody. Where do you come from? I come from Colombia. Oh, were you in jail? Yes, I was in prison. What did you do? Murder. That was the end of CNN for the night. They were not happy with it. When that happened, the camera sort of shut off, immediately shut up. No, these people, because look at all, oh wow, look at all that press. Look at all the fake news.
See the one guy with the hat. We respect you, but fuck the rest.
You know, we need borders, great borders. We had one, we're gonna have it again very quick. 2016, I fixed it so fast and so good. The difference was this is 25 times worse. This is crazy. And in 2016, I said that's gonna be the most important election we've ever had. And I meant it. But nobody knew they could do a thing like they've done. We gave them a border that was perfect. It was great numbers, great everything. All they had to do was leave it alone. He could have gone to the beach. Somebody told me, let's get on the bathing suit. He has one great thing, though. He's got an ability that I don't have. He can put down one of those 16-ounce little things that are made out of light aluminum. They're meant for old people and children to lift. He can't lift it, so a child is always with him. And he sleeps. The guy can fall asleep instantly. With the press watching. Who the hell wants to sleep with these people watching? And he's out cold. You see the dribble coming down the side of his chin. What do you think? What do you think President Xi of China? He's a fierce person. I know him very well. He's a fierce man. What do you think he thinks? He's thinking, oh, this is great. But he's actually better than Kamala, because, believe it or not, he's actually a more intelligent person. Can you believe it? Did you ever think I'd be saying that Biden is more intelligent? Kamala's mass migrant invasion is also placing crippling burdens on local communities and stealing jobs, resources, and opportunity from African American and Hispanic American citizens. These people coming in are taking the jobs of African Americans and have had it a long time. Their unemployment rate is through the roof. When you hear the numbers, and also Hispanic American at a little bit less clip, they're replacing people that have been in these jobs for a long time, doing a good job, not bothering anybody. They're living out their lives and they're being fired. And people that come in, and we don't even know who the people are. They have no way of knowing. A few years ago, one study found that 1 in 4 students in LA County schools was from an illegal immigrant-headed household. And after 4 years of Kamala Harris, the number is now a much higher number than I think of that. They come in by the thousands a day, thousands and thousands, all over the country. And you've heard the expression, every state is now a border state. They fly them over. That's the one thing nobody knew. It took me a little while to figure that one out. We wondered, what were all those airplanes doing flying into our country? That's how we found them. We had like hundreds of planes flying over the border. They said, we're going to make the border tough. How about she said, oh, we had a good border bill, but Trump talked Congress out of it. I didn't talk anybody out. The bill was defective, it was terrible. Millions of people would have come in and would have been made citizens, but that's not the point. The point is, they slowed it down so the numbers looked a little bit better, not much. But what they didn't do is stop airplanes from pouring in with thousands of people. Hundreds of thousands of people a year are flown into the middle of our country. In other words, they're sick, and that's what they want. That's their policy. You know, they were trying to convince us, yes. All of a sudden she said, yes, we can do. For 3.5 years, think of this. She was saying the other day, yes, oh yes, we want to have a border. Well, the first time she ever said it, she almost threw up when she said it. But the numbers were looking very bad for her, the poll numbers. She was getting trounced. She was getting trounced. And then all of a sudden she said, no, we'd like to have a wall. We'd love to have a wall. Remember me? I said wall. And Mexico did pay for it. You know, they gave us thousands and thousands of soldiers. They paid more. Remember? Because there's no vehicle for that. I just want to set the record straight because I do everything. We got thousands of Mexicans patrolling our border, free of charge. I said to the head of Mexico, the president, very good guy, he's a socialist, but these are minor details. I said to him, President, you have to give us 28,000 soldiers to patrol our border. Oh, Donald, I will not do that, of course I will. No, you will do that, I promise you, you will. No, I will not. Yes, you will. He goes, no way. And I said, way. And then I said, he's a good guy. He's a friend of mine. He just left office. He's good. Good guy. But why would he do that? He would do that only if we had leverage. And we do have leverage because we're the pot of gold. We won't be the pot of gold for long if we have idiots like we're talking about coming in and running things. We won't be a pot of gold for long, let me tell you. But he said to me, no, we won't do that. I said, so. I said, here's what you do.
Give a room, people, please. Please.
My friend, I don't want to embarrass you with the negotiation. Have your negotiator, please, your top guy, come and see me. So they came in.
I will see you after.
What a friendly group this is. I thought there was a little riot over there. Thank you. That's right.
USA! 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 USA!
Thank you very much, everyone. That's very nice. Thank you over there. I can't even see them, it's so far away. Thank you very much. They probably can't hear us, so they might as well get into the act, because it is far away. This is crowded. But just to finish the story, so I said, the guy comes in wearing the most beautiful suit I've ever seen. In fact, I wanted to say, who's your tailor, but it wouldn't be a good negotiation. Guy walks in to talk about soldiers on the border. I say, who's your tailor? It just didn't work. So he walks in, handsome guy, beautifully tailored. And I said, no, we want you to give us 28,000 soldiers for our border freedom. And he laughs at me, sort of laughed. The State Department woman, very good, 25 years she's worked on Mexico. She said, sure, they'll never do that. I said, yes, they will, 100%. He said, no. I said, yes. He said, no. I said, yes. And I said, here's what I'm doing. I'm signing an order. Every frickin' car that you sell into the United States is going to have a 50% tariff. And every piece of merchandise you sell into the United States, starting on Monday morning, this was a Friday evening, will have a tariff of 25 to 50%. And we'll make a tremendous profit over and above the cost to you. He said, may I have a minute, sir, and call somebody? I said, you're going to call the president, right? Yes, I am. Came back, I said, do me a favor, I'm very late. They're trying to impeach me and I have to work on that. These sleazebags. I've been under investigation more than Alphonse Capone. And they considered me to be a great president. Nobody did what I did. Nobody. So what happens is this. So he comes back 2 minutes later. Sir, I'd like to report that it would be our honor to give you thousands of soldiers, sir. We would love to give them to you free of charge, sir. I said, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Mexico was a good contributor. I just wanted to set the record straight. Remember when I said if they don't give, we're going to build the wall 10 feet higher? I was going to do that too. The massive costs of illegal immigration are now being experienced by communities all across the country and are destroying your children's education, their safety, and indeed their lives. Your children are in danger. They can't go to school with these people. These people are from a different planet. Kamala is turning us into a third world nation. That's what happened in San Francisco. When she was the DA of San Francisco, the things she did, she started that whole decline. With our victory, she's just really proud. That. Who's the guy? What? Stand up. Ma'am, to side. This can only happen in California. Yeah. didn't say it. Remember that. He said it. He said it. He said it. You remember when a man, we're talking about this guy, Chris Christie, he went off the reservation. Right? We have some people, and some guy shouts out to me, he's a fat pig, sir. Nobody heard it but me, you know, but it was still, he said it. Sir, you should not call Chris Christie a fat pig. Please. He is not a fat pig. You shouldn't. You're very rude, sir. We're going to have to throw you out if you do that. He is not a fat pig. And you know what? The press is saying it's something. I couldn't even report this because I was offended, because you're not allowed to use the word fat. You can use any word you can. You cannot call somebody fat. That's not allowed anymore. You know, you lose your job, you lose your life. With our victory, we are going to become quickly the greatest, strongest, freest, most powerful nation the world has ever seen. And on day one, I will close the border and I will stop the invasion of illegal criminals coming into our.
I'll get back to you guys in a second.
And despite all of the damage that she has done to this state and to our nation in the past 4 years, she's the worst. Oh, she's terrible. Thank goodness she doesn't have much energy. She had real energy, she'd really be bad. Kamala Harris said this week she can't think of one thing, not one thing, that she would do differently. Take a look. I'll show you a few.
Would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
I stood there on the tarmac watching you check your watch.
The chaotic and deadly U.S. evacuation from Afghanistan stunned Americans and the world and cost the lives of 13 U.S. soldiers.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been caught at the border and then released into the United States.
An Afghan national is in custody today after being accused of plotting an election day terrorist attack. The suspect entered the U.S. on a special immigrant visa.
Crunching new details in the murder of Georgia nursing student Laken Riley. The illegal immigrant suspect, who cops say committed the heinous murder, is a Venezuelan national who crossed the unsecured southern border back in 2022. Two men investigators say are in the country illegally from Venezuela are charged with capital murder and the death of Jocelyn Nungaray.
A fifth illegal immigrant accused of attacking two New York City police officers over the weekend showed no remorse or regret.
Would you have done something differently?
There is not a thing that comes to mind.
Over 18%, so the economy is in excellent good condition.
US inflation has hit a new 40-year high, increasing by 9.1% over the financial year.
The cost of homes have spiked. Home buyers need to earn 80% more than they did in 2020 to afford a house.
Were you the last person in the room? Yes.
Their whole campaign is based around the fact that she's not going to do what Biden did. And I was watching that one live. I got to watch that. It's part of my business, right? It's but I had to watch it, and I said, oh, this is going to be a killer answer. You know, I assumed she was going to go through a whole list of things that she'd do differently. She said she wouldn't. The worst president in history, and she said she'd do it the same. That answer, that she would do nothing differently, is a totally disqualifying answer. It disqualifies her from running. Think of this, 86% of the country feels that we're on the wrong track, and she's given it. Can you imagine? 86% record of the country feels that we're on the wrong track. Doesn't that tell you something? It tells you you gotta. I actually worry about the next 3 months. I really do. I worry about the next 3.5, 4 months. We'll end up in a world war because of the people that we have. And if you're on the wrong track by that amount, how can you keep someone who has stated plainly and clearly that she would do nothing? She would do nothing from Biden. With your vote, I will act with urgency and speed to save America and to rescue the people of California from Kamala Harris's atrocities. I will very quickly deplete. We are going to take inflation and we are going to deflate it. We are going to deflate inflation. We are going to defeat inflation. We're going to knock the hell out of inflation. We're going to use a thing that we have more of than anybody else. It's called liquid gold, oil and gas. And we're going to make America affordable again. For all of the working people struggling under the highest tax state in the nation, we will have large tax cuts. We're going to give large tax cuts for workers, and we will, ready? No tax on tips. No tax on overtime. And no tax on Social Security benefits for our staff. By contrast, Kamala is known as the taxing queen. She loves, it's the only election I've ever seen where they say, we're going to raise your taxes. Vote for me, I'm going to raise your taxes like by 72% or something. And they're going to end the Trump tax cuts. I gave you the largest tax cuts in the history of our country. Larger than the Reagan tax cuts. They're going to end them. Add that to it. Her plan will raise taxes for the typical American family by more than $3,000 a year. In Detroit 2 days ago, I also announced that we will make interest on car loans fully deductible. Because affording a car is essential to restoring the American dream. You know, we've lost the American dream in this country. We've lost it for our young people. They want the American dream. They want to have a great life, like Elon Musk. They like his life. How good was he the other night? Did you see him? He was so happy. You know, he lives a reclusive life, the life of a super genius. But he's rather dark MAGA, that's right. He's a different kind of a guy. He's great. He's great. He sees a hat. I didn't even know we made him. It's all black with black letters. That's called very subtle, right? You hardly even see Make America Great Again. He fell in love with it, and he wore it. I don't think he's taken it off in weeks. No, he wore it. And I said, what is that? He said, it's dark MAGA. I said, Elon, that's the coolest thing I've ever seen. Anyway, he gave us the best endorsement you've ever. He endorsed me a few months ago. He said, if Trump doesn't win, it's probably the end of our country. He means that too, by the way. He means it. And you know where he is today? He's campaigning in Pennsylvania for me. That's how good. He feels it's over. And I really think we won't have a country. Elon, help me. He's a great guy. But you know, really, I got involved last week because, as you know, Biden and Harris have done a horrible job on North Carolina and some of the other ones in particular. The first of the hurricanes that came in, it really wiped out North Carolina. And a person I know, an official in North Carolina, said, sir, we're wiped out here. All our lines are down. We have no power. We have absolutely no communication. It became to the mainland. What happened is the water was so high, they were literally landlocked. And he said, do you know Elon Musk? And I said, yeah, I do. What do you need? He said, we need Starlink. I said, what the hell is Starlink? I said, Elon, what the hell is Starlink? No, I said, what is Starlink? He said, communication. Very good communication. So I called Elon. I said, Elon, they're in big trouble in North Carolina. They need Starlink, and you guys they're doing so well with it. It's a very hard thing to get. So I said, you guys, is there anything you can do? Because it's fun. In the meantime, my phone rings. I was the guy from North Carolina thanking me, and I'm still on the phone with Elon. I said, Elon, what the hell did you do? You told them that you've got it before I even hung up. So he's on a different planet than us. I said, yeah. You were talking and I was, and he got it. He got him a lot of it. He got it. And I said to the people, what's better, that or the hard line? He said, actually, Starlink is better. Starlink is better. But he's a great guy. He's done a great job. And it's too bad that Kamala didn't lose. I don't even know if she's essentially not even gone there, essentially. But what happened in North Carolina, and then Ron DeSantis, who's done a very good job in Florida, he didn't want her even involved. He was dealing with Biden, he didn't want her involved. I will also cancel Kamala's insane electric vehicle mandate. Isn't it crazy? You guys, you have brownouts, blackouts. California has brownouts and blackouts every weekend, every day. And now he says, let's go all electric cars. These people are crazy. And you know, the thing is, and they're great, I like electric, but you know, they're for a certain market. You know the amazing thing with Elon? He makes the Tesla. He's never, and he's a friend of mine, he has never called up and said, would you do me a favor? Would you lay the hell off the electric car? Because he understands. He's got a great market. It's a smart market. It's a more expensive car. It's got some great things and some assets, but you also have to let gasoline-propelled cars in and hybrids in. You know, they're, they have another one now. You ever hear about the hydrogen? It's hydrogen. The problem with hydrogen has one fault. Somebody says it's better than everything. Got one fault. If it blows up, you're not recognizable. In other words, it doesn't happen much, maybe once a day in the nation. If the hydrogen car blows up, it's gone. You're gone. Your wife looks at a tree and...
Need a hole, guys. Need a hole, please.
I just can't tell. Is that right? These are serious problems. They wanted to give me one. I said, no thanks, I don't want one. No, I'll take electric. So, but isn't that something? Elon never called up and he never said that. It's right here, never said it. And he said, or as Biden would say, oh no, I'm not kidding. You remember when he said, yes, we've been threatened with war by Russia. No, I'm not joking. He always says, I'm not joking. About the no, I'm not joking. I don't know if anybody understands that, but he's a weird dude, I tell you. They called J.D. Vance and me weird. How about the vice president, her, and Biden, the combination? Thank you. But by the way, how good a job did J.D. Vance do the other day? Our J.D. I shouldn't say it, but I took him in because he has a very good brain. You know, we like smart people. He's very smart. He was a top student at Ohio State. He finished in 2 years, top of his class, and then I didn't know you could do that actually. But he finished 2 years. Then he went to the military. Was outstanding in the military. Then he came out. He went to Yale Law School, and he and his wife were like top students. You need to go get laid. So I picked him a little bit for the brain. We had a lot of great people. We have a lot of great people that were in that group, and any one of them would have been fantastic. But JD did a great job the other night.
I think she told
He's the guy that he went against.
I don't understand.
You ever hear a guy call himself a knucklehead?
Just standing there. I know.
I mean, he's the biggest liar. He lied about everything. And how come he went to China 28 times? What's going on? He went to China. You know, nobody asked him that one question. I kept saying, somebody asked him the question, why was he in China 28 times? There's a guy's got some problems. By the way, if you think she's all right, she's not.
Yeah, go ahead. Thank you, my friend.
But he went to China 28 times, and I'm waiting for somebody to ask him that question. It won't be the fake news. It won't be those. I will not allow California politicians to get away with their plan to impose a 100% ban on the sale of gas-powered cars and trucks in the state. That'll be ended on the first day. That'll be ended. These people, it's unbelievable. To bring jobs, factories, and wealth racing back to our shores, we will have a 15% made in America corporate tax. In other words, you have to make your product in America. Then you have only 50. Remember, I brought it down to 21% from almost 40%. Everyone said, there's no way you'll be able to. I had to get it passed in Congress. Can you believe it? It's the greatest tax cut, the biggest tax cut, and regulation cuts. The most regulations ever cut by a president, by I think 3 or 4 times actually. But we also, which I think is actually more important. I asked one of the big executives of the biggest companies, what was more important, the tax cut, where we took them from almost 40% to 21%, or the regulation cuts? Every single one of them said the regulation cuts, which actually surprised me. But it was the regulation. But I got you down to 21. And 21 is highly competitive with other countries. You know, we're dealing with other countries because they'll take our business.
Bây giờ sụp tối rồi quý vị.
You know, you're not going to give them and they're going to sit still. They don't care about our country. Many of them aren't even from America. They're not from the U.S. They're, international business people, very smart. And they will leave here in 2 seconds if they can get something substantially. So I came up with this idea. So now I have your 21, put you all the way down. And I said, if you make your product here.
Giờ chắc Long Nguyên phải đi về tối rồi. Chào tạm biệt Tổng thống Donald Trump. Chào tạm biệt quý vị. Bye bye quý vị. Cảm ơn quý vị đã theo dõi phóng sự rồi của Tổng thống Donald Trump ngày hôm nay. Chúc quý vị một nhiều sức khỏe, bình an và hạnh phúc.
And for those who don't make their product in America, they'll be forced to pay stiff tariffs for the privilege of competing with our cherished companies.
Thân ái kính chào quý vị. Bye bye. Bye bye quý vị. Nguyên ngày hôm nay mệt quá quý vị ơi. Đó là coi như là một lần nữa xin cảm ơn quý vị đã theo dõi trong những giây phút vừa qua. Ngày hôm nay Long Nguyên muốn biết bạch. Nói chung là hôm nay đi như vậy thấy cũng rất là vui, mà thời tiết thì nó nóng quá nóng. Long Nguyên thấy cũng rất là nhiều, cũng nhiều người đến ủng hộ Ngài, và đặc biệt là Long Nguyên không ngờ được đây là một cái tiểu bang màu xanh đặc gật luôn á, mà sao lại thấy đông vô cùng. Và một cái nữa là vấn đề là cái quan trọng nhất, không ngờ có những người Spanish là tất nhiên những người mà Mỹ Tây cơ quý vị, họ cũng đi rất là nhiều, và những người da màu Ấn Độ, người coi như là cũng khá nhiều ra, người Tàu. Rồi nói chung là hôm nay là rất là đông, phải nói rất là đông. Rally này rất là thành công quý vị. Có chút đào đi nữa đó.
Bye bye quý vị.
Bye bye. Bye bye quý vị, chúc quý vị ngủ ngon ha.
Cuộc bầu cử ngày 5 tháng 11 rất quan trọng. Chúng ta chỉ có một lựa chọn duy nhất là thượng nghị sĩ Janet Nguyễn, một người con của chiến sĩ Việt Nam Cộng Hòa, tranh đấu phục vụ cho cộng đồng người Việt suốt 20 năm qua. Nếu không giành chiến thắng lần này, chúng ta sẽ mất đi những thành quả hơn 49 năm xây dựng một cộng đồng lớn mạnh. Với đạo luật Tự nhớ tháng Tư đen, chương trình giảng dạy lịch sử chiến tranh Việt Nam, văn phòng phục vụ cộng đồng, hội trợ y tế miễn phí. Hãy giữ tiếng nói của người Việt tại Hội đồng Giám sát quận Cam. Thượng nghị sĩ Janet Nguyễn sẽ tiếp tục tranh đấu cho cộng đồng như bảo vệ nhân quyền tại Việt Nam, chống tham nhũng, chống tăng thuế, chống lạm phát, tăng việc làm, hỗ trợ cơ sở thương mại, giải quyết vấn đề housing và homeless, mở lại văn phòng phục vụ cộng đồng, xây dựng trung tâm văn hóa. Hãy dồn phiếu cho thượng nghị sĩ Janet Nguyễn vào giám sát viên để tiếp tục những việc dở dang, bài trừ tệ nạn bè phái và bảo vệ đồng tiền thuế của người dân. Thượng nghị sĩ Janet Nguyễn, giám sát viên, địa hạt 1, cột số 2.
Nghị viên Ted Buổi, hậu duệ quân lực Việt Nam Cộng Hòa, ông đặt nặng tinh thần phục vụ và tranh đấu quyền lợi cho cư dân. Ông Ted Buổi, chủ doanh nghiệp nhỏ với hơn 25 năm kinh nghiệm, ông hiểu những thử thách và sẽ tiếp tục tạo môi trường thân thiện cho giới tiểu thương, nâng cao an toàn công cộng cho cư dân. Ông đã giúp thông qua những quy định cắt giảm các thủ tục không cần thiết, giúp doanh nghiệp nhỏ dễ dàng kinh doanh và phát triển. Ông được sự tín nhiệm và ủng hộ của Hiệp hội Cảnh sát và lính cứu hỏa của thành phố Fountain Valley. Xin quý cử tri dồn phiếu cho nghị viên Ted Buổi tái đắc cử vào chức nghị viên thành phố Fountain Valley. Xin cảm ơn quý đồng hương. Paid for by Ted Buổi for City Council 2024.